This is the promo lab right here.
Nice.
You know, I'm a videographer, photographer, and everything. I go around promoting myself and try to help other people grow as well. So that's what I'm about.
What day's your birthday?
February 24th, 1997.
I'm February 1st.
Well, that's what's
so
up.
Same
that's
month,
what's up.
different sign.
That's what's up. So yeah, it's an honor to have you here today. It's an honor.
Thanks for the invite.
How's it been being the mayor?
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah, there's never enough time in the day. We've got a lot of issues that happen that are new that pop up every day, and then we know we got like decades of backlog stuff that we're fixing. So it feels good to keep helping things get better, but it's also this like restlessness because I know like I gotta do more. I'm always not being able to get back to people as quick as I'd like to, or solving things as quick as I'd like to, because it's big city, tons of issues, and it takes a whole team to do it. So because I can't cut a tree down good.
True that.
We had all these storms last weekend, so it takes a team. It takes everybody reporting and tracking and following up, and then the doing part, which is the most important part. So it's a lot, but it's worth it.
Yes, sir. So I'm gonna start off with my questions I got for you here. What are your thoughts on everything that's been going on in Pontiac lately?
Well, we're a very vibrant, dynamic city. There's always a ton happening. We got interesting, funny, smart, creative people, and so there's always something going on. It's interesting because my job, like I live, eat, sleep, breathe Pontiac all the time, so I could take that question in so many directions because we got infrastructure, we got jobs, we got parks, we got people doing great stuff, we got crime, we got the environment, the weather, the storms, it's all these layers. So,
and I didn't just want to make this podcast about questions about Pontiac, but I also wanted to get to know you, because you part of Pontiac, and I feel like a lot of people read that part, that you are Pontiac, you are part of Pontiac, you feel me? You from Pontiac. So what area did you grow up in Pontiac growing up?
Yeah, so my parents are divorced. They met in Pontiac. They both suffer from mental illness, and my dad was a patient for years at Clinton Valley, at Elizabeth Lake and Johnson. So they met. They had a pretty tumultuous relationship. I'm their only child. My dad lived and lives on Court Street in the Knolls.
Okay.
So he's been there for 30 years or something. And so when I was a teenager, I lived with him in Pontiac, but I was already in Walled Lake schools from my mom's side, so I just kept going to Walled Lake just to finish out. So, and that's part of that vibe or feeling where people are like, who the hell is this guy? Or, because I didn't go through the Pontiac school system, I don't have that same familiarity or connection with people from that age range. But it's pretty wild today in Pontiac. I did 5 years on the school board. But now more than ever, people go to school everywhere. I mean, school of choice. People go out to Brandon, Oxford, Waterford, of course. We got 900 kids in West Bloomfield. We got the charter schools, parochial. And, honestly, that's something that it makes it harder to stay more connected as a community because everyone's everywhere.
Right.
Doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Doesn't mean we can't make it work for us. But it's just the reality of education in Michigan where everything is so fragmented, when I know there are people that had an amazing experience if they grew up here and went to school. This weekend is the 40th reunion for Pontiac Northern Class of 86. But if you think about their experience, they went to elementary with everybody in their neighborhood, and they knew everybody, and everybody that worked in the schools knew everybody. They can track their experiences from the different elementary and then middle schools, and then basically primarily everyone went to 2 high schools in the city. That's a really beautiful thing. And not every city has had that. We had that. Unfortunately, I didn't get to experience that, so I get to celebrate it and marvel at it, but I don't have that firsthand experience with it.
Gotcha. How long have you been the mayor?
I am 6 months and 11 days in.
Okay. 6 months in. I say like the first month or the second month I really didn't know much about you. You feel me? I didn't know your name or nothing, and that was more of my slack on my end. And it took a Detroit artist to bring that to my attention, because I was down there and I was praising someone else, but they like, who your mayor is? And at that point, I didn't even know who my mayor. Well, I knew we had a mayor, but I didn't know your name. I didn't have no type of communication with you yet, and that's what I wanted to show that. I want a difference for my city. I'm part of my city just like you part of it, and everybody else from Pontiac.
Mm-hmm.
So he motivated me on that. I don't know if you heard of that artist from Detroit, I Swear Vezzo.
Don't know them personally, but I've heard of them.
Yeah. He the one that, gave me game, like, yeah, man, tune in with your mayor. That's the one that can, make a difference in certain areas, not every pool, but certain areas, go for it.
Yeah, in most cities, don't be too hard on yourself. Most people don't know the name of their mayor,
Mm-hmm.
or if they have a mayor or a township supervisor. Most people don't know none of that.
Yeah.
They're not usually voting in all that. So,
True that.
Most mayors of big cities, because they're on the news all the time,
Mm-hmm.
it's a big city. Sometimes they've been there for a long time. They get pretty well known. They get high profile. But, we're a city of 62,000. So most mayors aren't going to be a household name.
Yeah.
I do feel good, and I didn't expect that 6 months in that I feel that there is a lot more awareness now than 6 months ago, or with the previous mayor. Like,
Yeah.
who were they? What were they doing? What were they up to? What things were moving in the city? So I spent a lot of time trying to communicate. This is another example, just coming out, having this conversation.
Yeah,
but
man,
whatever I can to get the word out, because there's so much good
appreciate
stuff happening, and there's so many issues we got to fix.
Yeah.
And we got to communicate about it.
True that. And it take a team,
Mm-hmm.
It take a team and effort, And a lot of people is scared to come together, but they quick to make a status, but they ain't trying to, actually build in real life. And that's what I want to do, build in real life, and make a difference for my city, Pontiac, Michigan. So for the next question, where do you feel Pontiac is falling behind or need the most improvement right now?
Well, there's a lot of things that we could dive into on that one, but the one that's really immediate is our local roads, the roads
Yes.
in the neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just driving here right off of Auburn, we got Auburn that's smooth and beautiful and new, but then all the neighborhood streets off of it, they have not been fixed or
Yes,
replaced
sir.
in about 45 years.
I have that in the questions as well,
Yeah.
so I'm going to ask that question now and just talk about it right here.
Yeah, go for it.
They some of the residents, they are really concerned about Pike Street and what's that street that's right there by
Paddock?
Yes,
Mhm.
Pike Street and Paddock. So my concerns on that as well. I drive down that street sometimes to get to Woodward. And that's a busy street for the ambulance, the officers, the bus, and us workers. I'm a custodian, so I don't work in Pontiac, but I travel throughout Woodward to get to other areas to do my camera business and all that. And that's just one of the main streets that we really do hope to get fixed real soon. Pike Street and Paddock. Because there's a lot of potholes over there that's damaging vehicles.
It's way overdue, and a few years ago the city was able to repair like the middle part of Paddock, not both ends.
Mm-hmm.
And so, one, that's good because it was so raggedy, but two, it also throws people off. It's like, why do once I get to Elm Street,
Yeah.
and then it's so blown out, so torn up. So what we've been working, the mayor's office and city council, is on a full-fledged plan on how we can fix our neighborhood roads.
Mm-hmm.
And in the next few weeks we're rolling that out.
Okay.
It's been very effective, great working relationship, so I'm feeling good that we'll be able to have some solutions. But Pike Street, we're in even better shape. The whole thing is getting redone.
Mm-hmm.
It's a $20 million project. It'll probably be like the biggest road project we've had in the city in a long time, just because it'll go from, by Oakland Family Services all the way to where it dead ends at Eastway.
Yeah.
And the whole thing's getting replaced. So on the city council agenda on Tuesday, we've got the engineering proposal for the two firms that'll do like the design.
Mm-hmm.
So because what we got to do is have the engineering plans, then we put that out for bid, then we award the bid, work begins.
Gotcha.
And that does take time, but the great news is that we got $16 million from the federal government and $4 million from a foundation, because it'll also connect the Clinton River Trail. There'll be a shared path alongside.
Oh yeah. I heard you talking about that. Yeah. Okay. What can residents expect to see over the next 12 months that will make them feel like Pontiac is moving in the right direction besides the roads getting fixed?
Yeah, so tomorrow we're celebrating the opening of the renovations to Hawthorne Park, the first county park in our city. They call it Pontiac Oaks. But we also have Art Dunlap Park on South Boulevard. That's in the last few days of getting fixed.
Gotcha.
We have Indian Village Park at Huron or M59 in Genesee. That's getting fixed. And those are almost done. So it's something you can see, feel, touch, play. And then in the next few months, we'll have North Kiwanis Park, which is like a lot of people call it Stanley Park.
Yeah.
Just north of Montcalm in that area. And Cherry Lawn Park, close to Walton Park Manor. Those parks are getting fully rebuilt too this year. We also have some smaller renovations at Crystal Lake Park. The work that's done more has been improved at Mattamakini Hatchet Park between Perkins and Paddock. But so park, there's a ton more that we still have to do, but we're at long last really seeing parks improvements.
Yeah.
We were able to reopen and renovate the bathrooms at Bodette and the Mill Dam, tear down the old community center that was empty for 20 years at Gallery Lake Park. So there's a lot of these sort of projects in the parks for the first time in a long time that are finally getting done.
Gotcha.
And I try and share all the progress of new businesses that come, new apartments and homes that are being built. There's just so much. I mean, we'll be able to at long last have the Martin Luther King Bridge rebuilt and reopened later this year. So that'll be something where I think residents are going to be really fired up about.
Do you know exactly what month or close to that date?
The target is between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Okay.
So ideally it'll be within better weather so we can really have fun with it. But
that's a busy road that we all need.
Yeah, that'll be a major relief. And really within 12 months we'll be wrapping up the construction of the new Youth Recreation Center at Montcalm and Glenwood. So that'll be another really tangible, something you could see, feel, and experience and benefit from, which will be great.
I'm gonna be getting to the comments that's live in a minute, but I want to talk about the youth, and that's what some of the other people from Pontiac want to talk about as well, the youth. So right here about the youth, because I'm a father and my son, he's 7 years old right now, and I don't be that comfortable with him playing outside in this area. I know that it's youth spaces that you guys are working on right now, like the one right there off of Montcalm Street, right? Is that just an area for the youth, or is that for the whole community? It's going to be shared with the whole community?
So that space that's under construction, it's state-of-the-art, beautiful, and large, and it will be for the entire community.
Yes.
But it will be the primary location where we'll have youth recreation activities.
Gotcha.
2 indoor full basketball courts, indoor running track, a fitness center, a sauna, a game room, a library, a study, a podcast room. There'll be a lot of amenities, a cafe, a kitchen, a lot of amenities that not only will the kids be able to love and enjoy, but that different times of day, different days of the week, it'll be basically full, full for everybody. It's not just that only kids who can use the fitness center. It's for the full community.
Gotcha.
So it's about trying to be this amazing benefit that gets to serve a lot of people.
Yeah, because, where we reside at and other people, we don't really be that comfortable with having our kids outside in this area, But
when we get stronger there, when people feel more comfortable, the fact that the recreation center is there, it's right next to Oakland Park and Aaron Perry Park. So there can be kind of that benefit of a center with bathrooms and parking and all that, which can help activate it, including that skate park that they fundraised and got grant funding for that's right there too.
Me being a single father in Pontiac, the most thing I'll be wishing is some type of assistance for my child, because I clock in at 6 and it don't be nowhere really to, take my child at around 5 a.m. so I can be there at 6. If we had a center that was open at 5 a.m. the earliest and could possibly close at 2:30 or 3, for the kids, for the parents that's trying to work, and I think that could show a major difference, for the ones that actually want to work. Because you got people that want to sit, and you got ones that do want to work and make a difference for Pontiac and their family and they soul.
Childcare is a giant barrier,
Yeah.
and it's not like Pontiac's the only one that's feeling that. It's true for any family, depending on what their work-life balance is. But we were able to invest some workforce development dollars that we got from the federal government, including into child care support, but it isn't going far enough, and it isn't going to be able to satisfy many, if not most, of the challenges that we got. It's basically little pilot programs doing a little here and there, but
Yeah.
it's so expensive. I personally don't have kids. It would blow up my budget, totally tear it apart in terms of being able to put in the hours that I do for work. It'd be crazy.
Got you. What's the city's plan to address senseless violence in Pontiac to reduce it?
Yeah, I was thinking about that this morning. We actually have seen a big reduction in violent crime over the last few years, and that's true nationally. So it's not like Pontiac's the only place seeing that, but that's very positive. And people push back on me because I have been supportive of the cameras that can read license plate readers if somebody's fleeing from a crime or they're trying to solve a violent crime, but it's proven to work. I mean, in Pontiac,
it's helping resolve cases for families, and not just that, but people try to overlook and say, oh, y'all just care about the mayor because he go around picking up trash. But no, I see you going to people's families, on their street and spending time with that family right there, So I real life appreciate that because that could have been my family,
But yeah, I mean, I want it to be where, because a lot of what we're seeing with crime in Pontiac, and I don't think I'm saying anything that's too breaking news, but it ain't necessarily Pontiac people killing Pontiac people.
Right.
It's people from Detroit or elsewhere coming here.
Yeah.
It could be, the incident that you're referencing is a similar situation. That person that lives in our city, he wasn't killed by, just somebody that lived down the street. It was somebody that rented a vehicle, took off the plates, came here for the purposes of killing or seriously wounding from Detroit, and then to go back and tried to conceal it.
Right.
So I'm not trying to scare people. It's not like they didn't know one another. But the point is that I don't want it ever to be thought that if you do something like you kill somebody or you try and kill somebody in Pontiac, you can get away with it.
Right.
Because I think for decades there was a little bit of that impression. The police were too stretched thin. They didn't have enough cops or resources. They weren't able to close cases. People, suspects weren't apprehended. That ain't the case anymore.
Right.
All of the murders that have happened in our city over the last year plus, they've solved them.
Yeah.
They've got suspects in custody. They've got, they're working through the criminal justice process. I don't want anyone in Metro Detroit to think that they can get away with shit in Pontiac.
True that.
Because that's what cultivates an environment where it's like, oh, who cares? Who cares what happens? Bullets fly, whatever happens, I'm not going to face consequences.
Yeah.
Now, we've got stuff in society where there might be people that are that hopeless, disconnected, numb, that they don't care about the consequences. But at the end of the day, most people really ain't trying to go away forever. They don't have their freedom removed forever. Yeah. So it's something that we can't just say, oh, it's quick and easy. You do this and then it's easy. We've got to create a whole environment that's safe for kids and families and everybody. And that's one element of it. But our neighborhoods have to be cleaner. Just like you ain't going to play in a park if it's dirty, crazy, dangerous, feels unsafe, is unsafe.
Right.
And I want that for the neighborhood too. I want to make sure that the streets are clean, the lots are clean, it's presentable, it feels good, it looks good, it feels safe, and it is safe.
Right.
So we just got to keep at it.
Okay. Let me see where we at. Is we live? Let me check this real quick. Yeah, we still live. Can't see it over here, but yeah, we still live. So my last question for the youth that I have right here that other people are concerned about as well is Are there any plans to create more programs where kids and teenagers can learn about credit, money, and businesses at an early age?
Great question. And I think I benefited from that when I was younger. In my elementary school, they had like bank accounts that you could do as, 9, 10-year-old. That's good experience, and we want to keep modernizing because that's a very 1990s way to do it. But what we have done, just not far from you, we have taken the former Frost Elementary School, and we're leasing that from the school district, and we've now opened it as a recreation center. It's the hub for our summer camps that have expanded, and we try to include not just curriculum that's academic, all that stuff, and not just fun and play, but also enrichment, life skills, exposing our community's kids to cool stuff, interesting stuff, but useful stuff. And that's what we want for our center, but also our youth recreation programs. And we already have had that before. And what I've been trying to do as mayor is build up our relationships with banks and credit unions so they share their expertise, but also their resources to allow some more blessings for our kids. So we've made good headway in there, but there's a lot more we got to do.
Gotcha.
I mean, we got like, in the city, there's something like 12,000 kids right now, 12,000 people that are 18 and under. So some of those are babies, right? Some of those are infants and toddlers, but that's thousands of children on all sides of town, all different types of schools. We don't want any child and young adult to fall through the cracks and not have those life skills to set them up for success. And financial literacy is like central to so much.
Yeah. With Oakland County being one of the wealthiest counties in Michigan, how can Pontiac use its resources and opportunities differently than we have over the past 15 years?
Yeah. Well, thank God we actually have a county government that isn't trying to leave Pontiac, disinvest from Pontiac, or cut Pontiac out. And not to speak ill of the dead or to, people that aren't even around anymore, but for like 50 years, that was kind of the way they rolled. Pontiac was the punching bag. They were trying to exit Pontiac as much as possible. They politically would basically use us as a foil. And so now our county executive and county government, they're investing a lot more in Pontiac. They're moving facilities into downtown Pontiac. There are a lot more offices and operations. So that's where the Phoenix Center was. That's what's that investment and movement. But they've done a lot on a lot of different issues in terms of workforce development, healthcare support, a lot of infrastructure work partnering with us. And that includes the County Water Resources Commission. Our water and sewer in Pontiac is handled by Oakland County.
Yeah.
And so they've been doing a lot of projects, including right now around Baldwin, Howard, and Montcalm. That whole area is torn up because they're getting new pipes, new water infrastructure. Last year they did a lot of the Seminole Hills and Indian Village neighborhoods. So not only did they get new infrastructure because it was very old. Our city was so successful so early that a lot of our infrastructure is very outdated. So that's been a big win that they've been working to invest in those overdue deferred maintenance.
Got you.
But there's a lot more we can do. I don't want to ignore the question.
Right.
When we were young, Oakland County was the wealthiest county in Michigan, and it was like the third wealthiest in the country.
Gotcha.
We aren't anymore. And it doesn't mean that that's a bad thing. It's just that they count that per capita on average. So now in Michigan, it's Livingston County, Brighton, Howell, all these, McMansions and wealthy people kind of moving out there, suburban sprawl.
Yeah.
Which means on average per capita, there's just a lot more, upper income people and not lower income people. Oakland County is a lot more economically diverse, and it's got hundreds of thousands more people. It's just bigger and more diverse. And that means there's people from all income, a lot more income levels. I think that's good. It's healthy.
Yeah.
You can't just be one economic system. And, people, if they want to look down on Pontiac, poor people need a place to live.
Yeah.
And people that are just starting out in the workforce, they need to be able to afford a place to live. People that are retired or fixed income, they need to be able to survive and a place to live. And I think Pontiac is amazing in part because people can actually afford to live here, even though we recognize that everything is getting priced up and gouged up everywhere.
Yes.
Pontiac's not isolated on that.
That was one of my other concerns. Like, we go to the store, if you're not spending more than $3, they charging you a 50-cent fee, And I just think it's ridiculous for gas stations to be right here in our city and they charging us. And it'd be moments where they doing gas giveaways and all we asking is for a little, break.
Yeah, they're private businesses and they can set the prices that they want, and
Yeah.
it makes it hard, and it makes it hard for the city to help provide some relief or a pathway, because even if we have it low here,
Mm-hmm.
what's the deal with Auburn Hills, Waterford, Rochester, all the things that surrounding us? We're not in a bubble. Same thing with, even if we have the most affordable places to live in Oakland County,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to be able to take care of everyone from Pontiac, because then people
Right.
that are, workforce or just needing a place to live and they're young, they're going to start choosing Pontiac because they can't afford anywhere else. So we got to juice the supply with more affordable housing, but it's an ongoing challenge. It won't be easy. It is not going to be an easy fix. And when the federal government keeps making it harder and doesn't seem to be caring about that, it's just making it more painful for all of us.
Is there any type of impact you guys working on for like low income apartments like the Newmans and other close by apartments like that?
Like ones that currently exist already?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few different items.
Like as far as the violence and everywhere in that area and the noise, the complaints and everything.
Yeah.
Have you heard about that?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, we hear about it every day. Sometimes it's more activity or complaints from one side of town or the other.
Yeah.
Our city council president, Adrian Austin, is really laser focused on that, and we're working with him, trying to collaborate on what we do. But over the last few years, when I was on city council, we did a few different steps to try and make it stronger. One, we just beefed up rental inspections, fines for if landlords don't do what they're supposed to do, don't have good, safety and quality that they're doing with their property. But we also have created a rental escrow program so that if your landlord's not doing right, the money can be held in escrow. That's newer in the last few years. But we're trying to work with the larger complexes where it seems like there's a lot of activity, so that way their management companies are proactive. They're not phoning it in. That they're being as strong as possible on safety, security, all of that. But just know that there's going to be that inevitable pushback, right?
Yeah.
I mean, since cameras, the private company that manages North Hill Farms, there's now security cameras.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's been a year and a half or something like that. But since that's happened, there have been no murders in North Hill Farms.
Gotcha.
So if occasionally somebody's pissed that, why am I being surveillanced or monitored, right? Feel like my privacy, they're not in units, they're in the...
About North Hill Farms, I had an elderly lady inbox me, and like you said, haven't been no murders and all that going on over there, but she felt like it's no type of love being showed over there right now like it is in the downtown areas or on the east side of Pontiac or other areas. She say like she's doing backpack giveaways and all that and helping neighbors with food over there in that area. Everybody know about her, but she wanted to remain anonymous. She just felt like it's not you, but other people that's in that area that stay in that district that's connected with you that's not showing that much attention in that area.
Okay.
So I wanted to bring that up for her as well.
Yeah, I mean, just to speak to that, I obviously want to celebrate everything that's happening throughout the city. I can only get so far, in the time of day, so I welcome people sharing the good stuff, so that way I can just get the word out. But if they've got an issue with their council person, or they ran for city council and weren't elected,
District 3.
Yeah, and they ran for city council and they weren't elected, I can't solve that for them. I don't have a vote in District 3.
Kind of figured that, yeah. The M1 course pay is full share of taxes, I believe, and overall, is it benefiting Pontiac in any type of way still, or?
Well, it's a private business and it's a lot of land. So the most immediate benefit is that they pay property taxes.
Okay.
And not only the main, you know, facility and the track, but all of the car condos, like those little garages,
Yeah.
those are all individually bought. So they're all privately owned by different people.
Gotcha.
Some of them are connected to businesses, like car dealership, stuff like that. But, it's a lot of retired people. And they each pay property taxes each year.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have the figures from this latest cycle, but it's substantial. It's $1 million, or it's a lot each year that is generated from it. So that's the most direct way that we as the city get benefits, services are paid for, and all that.
Yeah.
And so they're paying more than they're using in terms of public safety, fire services, road repairs, all that. They're paying in more than we're having to spend related to that site, which is good. It's also a win in the sense that it used to be a GM plant,
Mm-hmm.
and then when that closed, GM tore it down. So it's like a big sea of concrete.
Yeah.
On a very prominent location, right? When you come into the city, Woodward and South Boulevard. So we're still benefiting from the fact that it's active. It's, well maintained. It's something there versus like a wasteland of nothing. And I welcome other community members' perspectives on this, but it seems like they're doing a lot more of like functions now that they have an event center.
Yeah.
That opened maybe 2 years ago. I was at the Learn for Life alternative high school in Pontiac. They had their graduation ceremony a few weeks ago. A high school from a neighboring community had their prom.
Mm-hmm.
Brother Rice had their prom there. Somebody from Pontiac was sharing that with me that goes there. But, that it's now an event center. So there's weddings, funerals, wakes, all that stuff, fundraisers, banquets, church gatherings.
Yeah.
That seems to be happening a lot more.
Yes, it have.
Just because now, if they weren't there, doesn't mean those events wouldn't happen. They just might be, going to a different venue. Yeah. I mean, and then there's something, and you can decide if you like that or not like that. There is some value that they are high profile, prominent, and focused on like that automotive excellence, automotive performance,
Mm-hmm.
automotive history. That's something that's part of Pontiac's legacy, and that's something that we can build on as a draw. And they are a draw. But obviously those that live close to it or an earshot of
Mm-hmm.
it, they might have a different calculation of, is it worth it? Does the annoyance outweigh that benefit?
Is it possible for anyone in Pontiac as a resident to might want to maybe throw a good neighborhood street party that could be blocked off in the right way where, it's safely secured and everything?
Yeah, I mean, there's one happening today at Prospect and the Prospect and Sanford area. They just fill out a form with the
Okay.
city. Yep, like a neighborhood block party.
Yeah.
That's very achievable.
Yes, I think that's what we need to do more of, and
Oh, yeah.
bring the city together in positive ways. My son, he's a DJ. He willing to come out and DJ sometimes for free, to support and give back.
And that's why I'm trying to spend a lot of time sharing out information, because there's actually a ton of stuff that happens all throughout our city. Just
Mm-hmm.
like the resident that's active with the North Hill Farms area. I mean, there's events, there's probably 15 things happening today.
Yeah.
And I'm the mayor, and I only know about maybe half of them.
Gotcha.
But there's a ton. And so we, want to make sure everyone knows about the good stuff. But when there's activities that aren't there as much, we want to lean in and help see more of it.
Yeah.
But actually, there's a ton to do in the city of Pontiac, but it's about connecting the people that might benefit from that, clothing drives, food drives, just music, fun, activities, connecting those families or age groups who would love it.
I had a parent had a concern about fifth graders class being mixed in with eighth graders classes right now at the moment for some Pontiac schools. Have you heard about that?
schools are not under me as mayor, but I think they're probably referencing the Pontiac Public Schools are doing a lot of reorganizing.
That's what I said too.
And so
like,
as they close down some of their
what
schools, they're shifting some of the different grades
yeah,
and
and
classes.
it's not a forever thing. It's just what they have to do right now. That's kind of
And
how
when
I looked at it.
I haven't been on the school board for about 5 years, but when I was on there, they were just starting to do this. But as we got funds to renovate the schools, while the school was under construction, they would have to shift maybe that school or some of those grades.
Yeah.
And because Pontiac High and Pontiac Middle School are so big, buildings that are big, they have more capacity, they often are using that building as the flex space. But WHRC is large and is now renovated, so maybe they're using WHRC for a lot more stuff too.
Do you think it's going to be future jobs coming to Pontiac for low-income residents that could, possibly fill out this application to, see some good money that they haven't seen in a while?
The short answer is yes. There's probably always going to be more need than there are opportunities. But I'm glad to see that it's like going like this in Pontiac, or maybe it's like that, not going as fast as we'd like it.
Right.
Two big expansions that have been announced in the last few months are off Opdyke Road and Centerpoint Parkway and South Boulevard. Fanuc Robotics is going to build a permanent location. It's actually their largest facility in the whole country. It may be the largest robotics factory in the whole country for any company. And that's going where GM Truck and Bus used to be. Okay. And Williams International, that makes jet engines, they're expanding a research and development facility. So job opportunities with both of those. Our biggest employer is United Wholesale Mortgage. And they have about 8,200 employees right now. They are hiring always. Amazon is our second biggest employer. They have distribution and fulfillment at the Silverdome site, and they're always hiring. And we want to connect and recruit even more opportunities and blessings beyond that. Because in Pontiac, one, it's the job opportunity, but we also have an income tax. So when somebody's working here, even if they don't live here, they're paying into the whole city's operations and success.
Gotcha.
And that's been around for generations. When we had General Motors here, there were 33,000 jobs in our little city. So it's part of why we're able to afford all the great things that we had in the city, because we had General Motors.
Yes, that was the whole start of everything, of people moving here and everything.
Yeah.
My last closing question before we see what Facebook, some of the comments over there. For the people watching who may have lost hope in Pontiac, what would you say to them today about the future of our city?
Well, I'll say the future is what we make of it. There's a lot of external forces and factors that always make life hard and life expensive, but we are an amazing place with an awesome, fascinating history, and we, the people, are amazing. And there have been people that have been able to make a way in the city, even with all of the challenges, all of the stress, all of the burdens that life has thrown at them, or the opportunities that weren't afforded to them. And we've still been able to get this far. And so as we work together better and we get creative together, we can be that place. We are the shit. And there's nothing wrong with leaning into the fact that we're Pontiac, Michigan. We're cool as hell. We've got a lot going for us. And the challenges that we can fix. Nothing will ever be perfect. A city is never going to be perfect, and is never going to be done fixing ourselves, because there is no perfect ever when we're dealing with human beings.
Right.
But we're 200 years old, and we've got infrastructure that's been around for a long time, buildings that are cool but old, apartments that are cool but old. Roads that are not necessarily cool, but they old. We got all these challenges, but it's also our asset. Because if somebody's saying, you know what, like Livingston County, the wealthiest county per capita in the city, on the state that we were talking about before, sure, they might have new subdivisions, new roads and whatever, but they don't have the dynamic people we got. They don't have the diversity we have. They don't have the historic character that we have. And in 40 or 50 years, their new houses
Mm-hmm.
and their new roads
Mm-hmm.
are going to start falling apart.
Mm.
And there won't be enough resources to pay for it.
Yeah.
You know, it's the challenge of when we were the shiny, new, fast-growing economic mecca,
Mm-hmm.
we got all the amazing things, but they do age. They do sometimes go away.
Right.
And that's hard. That's painful. A lot of residents are frustrated about what we've lost. It's amazing that we even attained what we did. Most places will never in their life ever attain a
Silver
fraction.
Dome.
Yeah.
Lost the Silver Dome.
We had the Detroit Lions and
Palace.
Detroit Pistons playing in our city.
Yeah.
We had the Pope, Elvis,
Michael Jackson.
WrestleMania, Hulk Hogan. We had all of that, and that was one spot. That was one spot that the taxpayers of Pontiac built and paid for.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that it didn't last longer or that we didn't get more out of it at the end.
I think we could bring that energy back though.
But it just shows like what can happen in our city, because when we win big, and we're very bold. And the fact that we survived something that no other community or society would survive, the hollowing out of our one major employer.
Mm-hmm.
We were the biggest concentration of jobs and factories of the world's biggest corporation, General Motors.
Yeah.
And they went away. You know, like 95% of it went away. And we're still here.
The late 90s went away.
And it was gradual and then sudden, but all of that loss of money and loss of everything,
Mm-hmm.
and we still have gotten back to where we're at.
Yeah.
We got a lot more way to go, but that's impressive. That is something that we should be inspired by, proud of, and fired up about, to say, look at us and look at God, and we're going to keep going because we need to.
Yeah.
And there's so much opportunity. But so if someone's losing hope or has lost all hope, just consider where we've been, where we're at now, and where we can go. And there is no guarantee. There's no guarantee what Pontiac will look like in 5 years, 50 years.
All right.
A lot of that's up to us. Because if we all move, if we all throw in the towel, obviously Pontiac will decline.
Yeah.
But if we stick with it and we keep building and every day making ourselves better and our neighborhood better, I mean, there's just so much more. That's right. There's so much more that can happen.
The main thing coming together, because like in Detroit, it's Detroit versus everybody, and sometimes I feel like Pontiac slacks on coming together. How Detroit, they are together. Even the mayor connected with some of the artists that make music and everything, and it's just they all there for each other down there. But here, it's hard. It's kind of hard to get everybody to come together. So with the events and everything that you've been doing, that's been, working in his favor, and I appreciate it. Just want to give you an acknowledgement on that.
Thank you. Well, and I'll just let everyone, and we have to keep this in mind too, just because somebody's got one negative thing to say doesn't mean that everything's negative. And it doesn't even necessarily mean that they are entirely, down on Pontiac. When we have social media now, everyone's in touch with their opinion.
Yeah.
But it used to be your opinion kind of stayed with yourself and your family. Your family and maybe your best friend was all who had to listen to it.
Yeah.
But now you have the freedom and the technological ability that whatever random thing you're thinking of, and it could be when you're having a bad day, bad moment, stress, sleepy, you get to just pop off, and then it goes into the bloodstream of our community.
Right.
And so I think that when people read all that, they're thinking, oh, Pontiac's down on itself. Pontiac is divided. I don't see that. In real life, in the real world, I don't see that. And even on social media, and everyone's like, lay off the mayor, he's new in the job, he's trying his best. I actually am seeing a ton of positive feedback, a ton of encouragement. And even if somebody's like, I love what you're doing, I love what's happening in the city, but hey, this thing is a problem in the neighborhood. We got a boat that's abandoned in the street.
Yeah.
Like, that's good. That's a good thing to know about the thing that's not perfect, because now we can fix it.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and at least they feel connected to their mayor, that they, somebody's going to listen. I wish there was more time of the day so I can, respond faster to everybody, and I won't be able to always get to everybody, but
Right.
I just want us all to keep that in mind, that just because there is maybe an occasional frustration or people that, start going off, it isn't representative of the whole city. The city is actually the way in which Pontiac people love on each other and are connected to each other. It is one of our superpowers.
Yeah.
And most other places will never have that.
True.
Will never have. Even though I didn't personally, my Pontiac journey is unique.
Mm-hmm.
Mine's unique, in part because of my family's mental illness and all their instability. No one's journey is going to be like mine.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so many people in Pontiac. Like, we are a family. People are literally related to one another.
Yeah.
Or they are like family.
We like a big family reunion.
And you take that to many other places around Michigan, the country.
It's different.
They don't have that.
No.
They don't have that. And we can build off of that.
Yeah.
That can make our streets safer.
Yeah.
That can make senior citizens less isolated. It can deal with a lot of the sort of social ills that everyone's confronted with. It's not unique to Pontiac, but we have that superpower where we know most everybody.
Right.
The longer you're here, the more you, one way or the other, you are connected somehow.
Yeah. And
that's beautiful. I don't think we should underestimate that. That is beautiful and that is very powerful.
True that. And, once you gave DDG the key, a lot of people feel like it should have been them that, deserved that key. But, man, DDG been putting on for Pontiac. I'm about to see what the comments say now.
Okay. Yeah, and while you're checking that out, I'll just say that I celebrate all that he's been able to accomplish. It's pretty sweet. And it's not like there's only one key ever. So there's other ways that people can be celebrated.
Yes, sir. Okay, checking the comments. They say Mike is a real one for this. Shout out to Mike, good job and still coming to private events. Shout out to Mayor Mike. I'm very glad my vote counted this time as well. I don't really see no questions. He doing a great job. He just need to get on his undercover police officer. Oh yeah, man, the undercover officers, they been like harassing the kids for no reason, pulling up at the gas stations out the blue, thinking that they got a gun on them, and these kids never, had to go through nothing like that until then. And then once they at school, they asking us as in parents, how do they know about guns? But it's the officers that's putting it in these kids' face, including my son. He had that happen to him at a young age.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you that City Council at the last meeting and this Tuesday night, they've drafted a public safety citizens review board. So that way there can be an opportunity for where residents, if they feel like something didn't go right or they feel like their rights were violated, where it can be investigated, it can be, advocated for, and maybe a solution reached. Because we're in a unique spot. I mean, we contract with Oakland County Sheriff for our policing.
Yeah.
Since 2012, there is no Pontiac Police Department. A lot of those former officers, if they were still working years, they worked for Oakland County Sheriff. But it means that the governing structure is different. So as mayor of the city of Pontiac, I ultimately oversee the contract that we have with this agency, this county agency. But back in the day, the mayor was the boss and the police chief was under the mayor. So if there was something didn't seem right, there was a concern about brutality or, search and seizure, all that, there's a process where that could really be followed up and see if there's an accountability. Now, of course, Oakland County will have their process, but it is not under us directly as the city of Pontiac, which means you have a vote in it, but it's your vote through your county sheriff once every 4 years, and then maybe your county commissioner and your county leadership. It's not your vote of who's your mayor and city council. And that's the same situation with the fire department. We contract with Waterford Township. The emergency manager made that deal, I think it was 2012 as well. So, used to be the mayor would hire and fire the fire chief and the police chief, and they'd report to them. Then all of those employees were city employees. The main downside when you have a government like that, The downside of what we had before is that after 20 years, a police officer usually retires.
Mm-hmm.
And then for 30 years, 40 years, etc., they are collecting a pension, and the taxpayers are paying that pension. It's called legacy costs. That's the hardest part about when you have your own.
Yeah.
Well, that's long term, that's the hardest part financially. Another issue is that if you got to start it up new, like if we started up the Pontiac Police Department new,
Mm-hmm.
we would have to buy new police cars, buy the police equipment, update our facilities so that way all the things that the county's got or we used to have, we'd have to figure that out again. And that'd be a lot. That'd be a lot. But so to that concern, your city council is paying attention to that. They want to be responsive to that, and they are working to update the ordinances, which is just a technical term for our city's local laws. They're trying to update the local laws to provide more rights and opportunity to sort of get that addressed.
Someone in the comments concerned about felon-friendly jobs that don't hire felons.
So if the question is, you think that people who claim that they're friendly aren't friendly enough, we can try and look into that. But if you're saying you want leads on felon-friendly jobs, there should be a lot of them, and it might just be us connecting the dots with you. City Council has authorized our administration, as of the new budget that started 10 days ago, that we have a lot more staff and resources to support small businesses and entrepreneurs, but also to build up workforce development. It's a big need in our city, and when the city government was basically down to nothing, there wasn't really any of that. So we're building that back up. City Council has invested in that. But long story short, meaning if you want to inbox me with your contact info, and I can connect you with our team and then the other resources, because there are a lot of advocates and organizations in Pontiac and beyond that can be there for you. So if you're a newly returning citizen, or it's been a minute and you feel like you're hitting, roadblock after roadblock, there are ways that we can be helpful. And please don't be ashamed. Please don't, hesitate on that, because there's so much life for you to live. There's so many good things that can come from stability and income that we don't want you to be held back by that. And that's something I myself am a felon from criminal issues I had 16 years ago. I wouldn't want that for myself. I don't want that for any other person or family where that becomes a closed door for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Luckily, America and Michigan is getting it. There's still a long way we got to go, but we're getting it. Where there's problems with the criminal justice system, it isn't evenly applied. It isn't always going to work out. And even if, you deserve what happened, you deserve what, you did it, but that doesn't mean life is over for you. It doesn't mean you can't contribute to not only society, but contribute to yourself and your family, pour into yourself and your family. So Pontiac, I actually think that we are not only a city of second and third and fourth chances, but we can be a model for how to do it right, because we actually, like we said, we're like a big city, small town. Like, we can reach people. We don't have to let people be in isolation and not getting the support and the love that they need. We have in our city, like a high percentage of our city that have been impacted by the criminal justice system. Maybe sometimes it's misdemeanors or less, but like there are a lot of people and families like that's real, and we don't want you and your family and your household to miss out.
Got you. I seen a question on here about small businesses. I'm also a person that has a small business, a LLC that's been established for a minute, and it once was a time where they was doing technical assistance for small businesses in Pontiac, and I was one of the people who did the application and everything, got certain emails back, but my funding did not go through for me. Some funding did go through for people, so that was like a hurtful situation for me with my small business, me being a cameraman, photographer, and trying to go further with it.
Thank you for pursuing the resources. The city had technical assistance grants. We got one-time funding from the federal government. It's called ARPA. It stands short for American Rescue Plan Act. when Joe Biden was president, it's after the recession. They're trying to juice the economy, investment and action, and it worked. But Pontiac got $37 million, and a few $1 million was for small business support. And what I mentioned earlier about how we really didn't have staff to support small businesses or workforce development, unfortunately, in Pontiac, the city council, I was on it at the time, we approved this investment, and the administration, the then mayor, proposed how they were going to use it. We approved it, and some of it got off the ground, but it was slow, for lack of a better word, disorganized. The follow through wasn't as fast as it should have been. And so some benefit and some investment reached some of our small business and emerging entrepreneurs, but it didn't go fast enough, far enough, or sustainable enough.
Which is understandable. So for the small businesses, folks who did not go through, is there anything in the future that we could look forward to?
Yeah, what I just talked about with city council making those funding investments, they invested $1 million into small business support, which might take the shape. I have a meeting next week to find out what the staff's proposal is of, will it lean more towards technical? Will there be some grants? Will it be a mix of the above? Because what we want to do is not just have one-off, okay, it's great in the moment, but we want to really help build our entrepreneurs and help build up this whole ecosystem, meaning if you have a need for XYZ support, some of it might come from Oakland County and the Oakland Thrive. Some of it might come from City Hall. Some of it might come from Michigan Works. Some of it might come from some partnership with Oakland University or Oakland Community College. But we want you to be able to know all that and us to help know and navigate all that. And it actually sticks. It actually helps you help yourself. We don't want it to be where, okay, we said we cared and we did something real quick and messy and disorganized and pat ourselves on the back.
Right.
What does that matter if the business then goes away or that the person, the stress and the money and the heartache and the time that you put into it, we want it to mean something. We want it to last.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And in Pontiac, a ton of small businesses is a big part of our ecosystem.
Yeah. We
might not have General Motors doing all this anymore, but we also have just a lot more makers and entrepreneurs and services. Sometimes it's out of a home, sometimes it's out of a car, sometimes it's on your smartphone, sometimes it's on your laptop. I mean, it takes a lot of different shapes, and it won't always be in a business building, but it still is contributing to the city, contributing to tax dollars, but also contributing to the stability of who lives here and what impact they're having in their neighborhood and their family.
Gotcha.
So we got a lot of work to do. I mean, that's the takeaway, but I feel excited that we're in a position where we can, just because the federal money came, spent, and is now gone, doesn't mean there's no other opportunity. Right, and I think the city council is very smart to say, hey, this still is a priority. How can we make this work? And part of the challenge to your technical assistance grant is that it was new federal money, and they started adding a whole boatload of requirements from the federal government. It says you got to do this, and so we got one or two city staff members trying to make sense of it, and then when they've already done half the process, the federal government says, "Oh yeah, and then you should have this, and it's damn. Yeah. So it made it very drawn out, very complex, and very hard on the user. You as the end person that we're trying to support, I'm sure it was frustrating, confusing, and a lot of people walked away. They were like, screw this, I got better uses of my time to deal with all this. And so for anyone, if that was your experience, any part of the process, you feel you tuned out even when the application came out and you thought this ain't for me, or I'm excluded somehow because of a technicality or anything like that, just know that when we're dealing with federal money, there's just all these strings and all these hoops. And I'm sorry that was something that burned you or made your life more stressful. Because the goal is trying to create more success for Pontiac's people and our businesses.
Right. Well, I truly appreciate you coming through today. You've been here for an hour and 4 minutes now, so I truly appreciate your time. We're going to end this with just letting Pontiac know how the rest of your day finna go for today and this week?
Me?
Yes.
Okay, so it's Saturday, July 11th. The sun is shining in Pontiac. I already went to the bank, did my thing at the bank. I'm here. Pontiac Northern class of 1986. I was at their reunion party last night at the Transportation Museum. It was beautiful. But they're having a cookout. They asked me to come through. Council President Austin has a cookout with residents at the Legacy. It's at the corner of Franklin Boulevard and Orchard Lake Road. I think it's 149 Franklin Boulevard. I don't want to screw that up. But long story short, that's going from 1 to 3:30. The community's invited, so if you're watching this now, I'm going to try and swing through, but that's an opportunity as well. Saturday the 11th. You know, this is actually not as crazy of a Saturday that I usually load it up.
Busy Saturdays.
But one of the things I've been finding peace with is my backyard, landscaping my backyard. It's a lot to contend with, but it's actually in a way, very peaceful. And I've been loving that. So I'm going to try and do a little bit of that. Tomorrow is the grand opening. It's like a celebration of the improvements to Pontiac Oaks County Park that we were talking about earlier. So that's on Telegraph, 1400 North Telegraph. And so from 2 until 6 p.m., the community's invited. I mean, it's a park. You can go anytime. But that's when the event is. And the first 50 kids that come get a free fishing pole, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Because there is now a new fishing dock at that lake there. But it's beautiful, the improvements that are made there. Encourage you, if you can't come to the event, check it out throughout the summer. We just had a great Juneteenth celebration, a great 100th anniversary of the Pontiac Motors. We had 9 different arts crawls this spring in downtown. And what we got coming up, in addition to what I just shared about this weekend, we have the 250th anniversary of America, like the 250th birthday party at the Oakland History Center, July 25th and 26th. It's what usually is the ice cream social at the Governor Wisner House on Cesar Chavez there next to Wisner Stadium. So you're welcome to come to that, July 25th and 26th. Meals on Wheels is doing Blues in the Streets on July 25th. There's also Rise of the Phoenix by the Clothing Cafe on July 25th.
Can you drop the address again for where they can get the fishing poles
Yeah.
and everything?
You may know it by Hawthorne Park. Hawthorne on Telegraph north of Dixie Highway, south of Walton. That park is still city property, but we've partnered with Oakland County, and they call it Pontiac Oaks County Park. And so it's in that park from 2 to 6 p.m. I imagine it'll go pretty quick, right? So I don't think don't wait till 6 p.m. to try and get your fishing pole. Be a part of the action, but we're expecting music, food, games, activities. We're going to cut the ribbon, even though the park has been reopened for the last few weeks.
I've been waiting for something like that to cut the ribbon and do pictures for free.
So I pretty close to 2 p.m. tomorrow, I think, if your schedule allows. But we got a lot of fun stuff happening. There's 2 new businesses that are doing ribbon cutting in downtown Pontiac on July 18th. We've had the ribbon cutting on a few other fun things with more to come. But yeah, I'm very blessed. There's no shortage of things to keep me entertained and busy. But we have our Music in the Parks that'll kick back up. The first Music in the Park will be July 23rd, Thursday evening. JC Park is where that's happening on Walton. But then every Thursday through middle of September is our Music in the Park series brought to you by the city of Pontiac. But there's just a ton. I mean, we have a very exciting, interesting city. People wish they were Pontiac. And if they were talking bad about us just because they're going off of old, outdated stuff, screw them. And we'll have fun. In the meantime, we don't need them.
Yes, sir. Thank you again for coming through.
Thank you.
We'll end this live right here, y'all. Y'all share this live and spread the word.